here.
Well, kia ora everybody. Good afternoon. It's great to be here at Waitangi, where, it's good to be here with our colleagues from the Green Party of Aotearoa as well. We're here to send a pretty clear message that unity is important, that coming together as a country is important, that working with each other is important, and that we're stronger as a country when we're unified and when we work constructively together. You can have constructive disagreements, and Labour and the Greens are separate parties, and of course, from time to time we compete, and we certainly compete at elections when it comes to wanting to attract votes. But we can still work constructively together. We can still respect each other. In the case of Labour and the Greens, there are more things that we agree on than that we disagree on. And so we've proven in government and in opposition that we can work constructively together. We've had a really constructive working relationship in the last 2.5 years that we have been in opposition, and we look forward to continuing to work with each other. But in areas where we do disagree, we also want to be able to model the fact that you can have your disagreements, still respect each other. You don't need to insult each other every time you disagree. And I think that is a stark contrast with what we're seeing from the current government, where you've got Winston Peters, Christopher Luxon, David Seymour taking potshots at each other every time they disagree with each other. That's not good for the country. It's not good for New Zealanders' overall sense of national unity. And I think that New Zealanders deserve better. And I'll hand over to my colleagues. Yeah.
Kia ora. Thanks, Chris. Look, Te Tiriti really is unity, and we are here in the beautiful Waitangi to reaffirm our shared message out to the people, especially right now where we have been seeing up close the manaaki, the hosting responsibilities of people, particularly up here in the impacted regions of Te Taitokero, where marae, hapu, whānau are opening their arms to each other, are caring for people, whether they are close whanaunga or complete stranger tourists. And that is the exact leadership opportunity that Te Tiriti has always offered us. We know how important it is, especially for people around Aotearoa right now, to be able to show this message that we can share together, to be able to show that Te Tiriti requires leadership to step up and take the guidance of the community, actually, the communities who, especially over the past term, have had to mobilise against this government's attacks on Te Tiriti, attacks on Te Ao Māori, attacks on our connections as tangata whenua and tangata tiriti, and have said no. And so we're here very simply to share that message. We know that people have been getting pulled and hammered left, right and centre from this government. We know that people need to see what is on offer, what else is possible for Aotearoa. So that's all it is. And Chloe, I'd like to ask if you have some few words for the people.
Just wanted to say, obviously, endorse all of those messages. People have New Zealanders need to know that they have a really incredible opportunity in front of them this year to choose a government that will prioritise both people and planet, and they're looking at those who could be leading that.
Happy to open up.
And you talk about unity, but there's no Te Pāti Māori here. Are they excluded from that?
Labour and the Greens each have a different working relationship with Te Pāti Māori, so I'll speak on that from the Labour Party's perspective. We think that the Te Pāti Māori need to work out their own internal issues before they can sit down and talk to other people.
Do you agree with that, Marama? Do you agree with that position?
Mm-hmm. So we have a really good working relationship with Te Pāti Māori and have over decades, actually. Today is simply about taking the opportunity to be united with a message with the Labour Party.
Certainly, but the message coming from Chris is that, in his position, in Labour's position, that Te Pāti Māori isn't fit to govern at this stage. Do you agree with that?
I acknowledge for Māori, actually, and we've acknowledged this whole time through the Troubles, that Te Pāti Māori, have things to work out, absolutely. But we have continued to stay in contact with them through all of the Troubles and be able to acknowledge to the whānau. We hope they work things out. We've got a big job to do, which is get rid of this anti-Māori, anti-Tiriti government.
Marama, do you think Te Pāti Māori should have a seat around the coalition table with Labour and the Greens?
Look, that really is for the voters to decide what the makeup of the next government is. And on November 7, people get to use their power to decide who they want around the coalition table.
Would you work with Te Pāti Māori?
We have in the past and we continue to, aye.
Has
say
Te
you want
Pāti
to...
Māori been excluded from this because of the Reid Research poll showing half of voters want them ruled out from Labour?
No.
by
No,
Labour?
not at all.
You're not worried about that polling?
No.
You say you want to contrast to the government, but you're referencing that polling, you guys can't do it alone. And if you're looking at a contrast, the other three can. But TPM isn't here. Doesn't that just point to your kind of key issue here?
An opinion poll's not an election result. We've still got 10 months of campaigning ahead of us, and we're all going to be going out there to get as many votes as we possibly can.
Have there been any polls that have suggested that Labour and the Greens can form a government without Te Pāti Māori?
10 months out from an election, it's still far too premature to be predicting an election result based on polling now.
And people don't need to sit back and watch polls. They can take the power into their hands and be the polls. We're independent parties still. All of us will be putting our best offers on the table for how we can improve the cost of living for people, protect our environment, take proper climate action. That continues. Today is an opportunity to show some unity, particularly with Labour, but Greens have and will continue to take opportunities to stand with Te Pāti Māori also.
So you say you want them to organise or sort out their internal struggles. What do you mean exactly, and what has got to be the threshold of them sorting it out?
It's the stuff that people have seen themselves, and I acknowledge that many people have said that they need to sort them out, and they themselves acknowledge that too. Okay, goodbye. No, but look, this is a beautiful opportunity for us to be together and really emphasise that we've always worked together and we can continue to.
Chris Hipkins, the Green Party has had more than its fair share of party turmoil this term. Why are they any different to Te Pāti Māori?
All political parties have their internal issues, and the key thing is, can we work together? Are there a lot of things that we agree on? Can we have a good constructive working relationship? Yes, we absolutely can do that.
But why is the Green Party afforded some of your leniency, I guess, in Te Pāti Māori isn't?
I think that the issues are very, very different with different political parties, and I don't think you can put them in the same category.
I mean, why not?
Well,
Why not? Because they've had a number of MPs who have had to leave Parliament, who have been disgraced. How are they any different?
At the moment, Te Pāti Māori is a very fractured party, and within Māoridom, we've had a lot of feedback about that, and they really need to work those internal issues out before they can speak to other parties.
Chris Hipkins, have you had any conversations with Te Pāti Māori since, say, the end of last year through till today that provide you with any kind of optimism or green shoots that they're moving in the right direction?
Can be completely upfront, I was in Tauranga last week visiting the Mount. Rawiri Waititi was there as well. So we did do a visit to the campground purely by coincidence. We were there together. We had a friendly conversation. We did not talk about these things. That wasn't the time or the place to do that.
You were planning on having some kind of formalised meeting towards the end of the year, though, with Te Pāti Māori. Did that end up happening?
No.
Why not? Is that because of what was going on?
Yeah, they were otherwise occupied.
Is it still Labour's plan to win all of the Māori seats and force Te Pāti Māori out of Parliament?
Labor has always contested the Māori seats and will continue to do that. This is an environment in which parties go out and compete for votes. Even Labour and the Greens, we compete for votes too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the voters make their choice, and then they deserve to know who can sit around the table and work things out and move forward. My message has been very consistent. We've been able to do that with the Greens very constructively in the past.
You say there's lots you agree with the Greens on. Would you describe Te Pāti Māori in the same way?
There are certainly areas where we have agreement with them, and there are clearly areas where we don't.
What's happened with Penny Hunari?
Penny has already announced that he didn't put his name forward for the Tamaki Makaurau nomination for Labour, so that's now public knowledge. I've always been really clear, and my position stays the same today, that MPs make their own decisions and own announcements about their futures, and then I'm happy to comment on them once they've done that, but I don't do that on their behalf.
Did he have your backing to put his name in for Tamaki Makaurau? Did he have your assurances that he would have a seat in your senior lineup?
He hasn't nominated. I'm not going to be commenting further on the matter until Penny himself has made further public comment on it. Those are his.
Comment on whether he had your confidence.
Those are his decisions, and I'm going to let him have the space to communicate those with the public.
I spoke to him earlier, and he did admit that the results in 2023 and the by-election did play a part in his decision.
In terms of the Tamaki Makaurau nomination, absolutely.
So did he not have Labour's confidence that he might be able to win it this year?
I'm not going to start a conversation on this while Penny still has. I'm still leaving Penny the space to make his own decisions and his own announcements.
Were you aware of Penny's decision before it was publicly announced?
Not to nominate for Tamaki Makaurau, yes.
We're not.
You were when were you aware of that?
Well, over the last week or two.
Was that something that he engaged with you on?
Yeah.
Right. And what was the nature of that conversation?
And I'm happy to comment further on it once Penny's made his own decisions about his future and communicated those to the public.
We're not asking you to talk about his decisions for the future. I'm simply asking you whether you had confidence in Penny Henare, whether he had your backing.
Look, Penny's entitled to make his own decision. And I'm going to comment further on it once he's done that.
Why can't you say that you back a senior member of your caucus?
Because it's simply not fair when somebody's about to communicate their own decisions. I'm going to leave them space to do that.
Regardless, someone who has had a lengthy career within the Labour Party, who has been a senior minister, surely the least you can say is, I had confidence in him.
And happy to comment further on it once there is something to comment on.
But does that not imply that you don't have confidence in him though?
No, it just means I'm leaving him the space.
Doesn't that just leave it open for speculation?
Well, you won't have to wait very long.
Will he leave on good terms if he does announce his departure this afternoon?
Yes.
Why?
But
Why?
I'm not getting into that until we'll leave him the space.
Are you going to do a press conference this afternoon and speak to it then?
I'll be happy to provide follow-up comment in due course.
Hey, how come Te Tai Tokerau was confirmed so early with Willow Jean Prime and the rest of them haven't been able to?
In terms of the Labour Party nominations, electorates where they have one nomination and they apply to the party's ruling council for an early confirmation, they can do that. I'm not involved in those decisions. Those are decisions for the party.
Carmel, you are an Auckland-based MP. What discussions have you had with Penny Henare?
Well, I think, as the leader has said really clearly, Penny can speak to his own decisions, and at that point when he's had the opportunity to speak further to them, then you'll hear from the leader on that.
Was he a good MP, a good colleague?
I think he's got an amazing track record in his service. That's certainly the case, and has been a friend over the years.
And he has a future in politics, do you think?
Any decisions for Penny will be Penny's decisions.
On the critical minerals developments, and perhaps some reactions from both of you. The Prime Minister's been saying that media speculation is just that, speculation, but now we've had an update that there is some kind of deal being worked out or has been worked out. What do you kind of make of all of that?
What's abundantly clear from the last 48 hours is Christopher Luxon has no idea what his own government is doing. To say that this was all just speculation and then to have the Chief Executive of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs attending meetings, making representations on New Zealand's behalf and issuing communiques following that, outlining what's been discussed. The Prime Minister seemed completely unaware any of that was happening. I find that completely mind-boggling that we would have senior government officials, including a senior government minister in the form of Shane Jones, making representations on New Zealand's behalf and the Prime Minister not knowing anything about them.
I mean, further to that point, I would say you clearly can't trust Christopher Luxon. He either does not know or is not across what is happening within his government. And we also need to ask ourselves as New Zealanders the bigger question here. Do we really want to be using our critical minerals to effectively power the United States' national security interests? Because that is the only information that is currently available on the public table about this deal. And I don't think any of us ever decided that we wanted to be on Trump's team.
Are you aware of court action that Hodaki Iwi is taking against the government regarding the Marine and Coastal Areas Act? They received the backing of the Iwi Chairs Forum earlier today. I mean, what given that the Iwi Chairs Forum is now back something like that, what message do you think that will send to the government when they meet with them?
Well, I strongly oppose, and the Labour Party strongly opposed, the changes to the marine and coastal area legislation that this government have been forcing through Parliament. In fact, the National Minister who passed the marine and coastal area law through Parliament thinks that they were wrong to make that change. That's Christopher Finlayson, and he's made some very strong comments on it, and I endorse those. I think it's a massive step backwards.
Also, Nationals come out today, and Nicola Willis saying that you must rule out expanding the CGT and the Greens inheritance tax, wealth tax, and increases to company tax, personal income tax, and mining tax. Anything short of an agreement will make it clear that everything is on the table under a Labour Greens power sharing agreement. It's just the risk of coming out in a united front like this that you are going to have to play in these rule-out games.
I'm amazed that Nicola Willis has so much time on her hands. You would think that maybe she would be focused on balancing the government's books, something that she hasn't yet done and has no credible plan to do. Maybe growing the New Zealand economy rather than driving it into recession. Creating jobs rather than driving people out of work. Nicola Willis, you would think, as Minister of Finance, has more important things to do than scaremonger about what Labour, the Greens or any other political party might do.
Can you rule out expanding the CGT then?
I've already set out our tax position. It hasn't changed.
Are there internal ructions within the Māori caucus of Labour?
No.
Is your caucus in disarray?
No.
Can we say, just to recap, can you say now that there is no ill will between Penny and the party?
Yes.
So if Penny Henare announces this afternoon that he's going to quit politics, and I'm just completely guessing here, I have no idea, but if he announces that he's quitting politics, that speaks to issues within Labour.
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
People make their own decisions all of the time.
Yeah,
and look,
based
and I'll comment on them.
Events and
And I'll,
facts
and I'll
situations,
comment
what's
on them.
happening in the
I'll
party.
comment on them once those events have taken place. Should that be what's happening? But it's not fair for me to go out and comment on people's decisions before they have communicated them.
But he has communicated the decision that he has.
Well, he's communicated a decision, but I think you're not going to have to wait that much longer. I think you should just give Penny some space.
Driver licences.
Yeah.
Changes.
Had a quick look at them, kind of relatively ambivalent about them, to be honest.
It's going back to what it used to be. I'm more interested in why Nicola Willis, she has any right to be dictating what other political parties get to do, when clearly people have been struggling to make ends meet, when wages are not keeping up with the cost of living, when people have been struggling to find affordable housing, when people are concerned about getting healthcare, when you've got communities right here who are suffering from the challenge of climate charged weather events, when this government cut resilience funding, including to Māori communities, is making emissions worse and adding to heating the planet. So we will do what we need to do as independent parties and take advice from evidence and from the people, not from a government who choose to put corporate profit over the well-being of people and communities.
So you do think you'll be able to convince Chris Hipkins to put that wealth tax, that private plane tax, that's on the table?
Who we need to convince, Glenn, are the people and the voters. They are the ones who have the power and get to choose.
And if I can just, underscore precisely that point, no political party and no politician is entitled to anything at all. And to go back to the point on polling, Auckland Central back in 2020 put me in third place in 3 separate polls. But by virtue of being on the ground and taking policies to the people which would actually meaningfully, tangibly improve their lives, we made history. And we did it again in 2023. And that is the point that we want to try and get across here. We are different political parties. Very clearly we have different propositions for the public. But we also have core shared values to prioritise the well-being of people and planet. That's the message that we're getting across here. But you'll see our differences when it comes to our policies throughout the election year, and New Zealanders get to decide.
So in saying that your position is that nothing is assured or no party is guaranteed something, do you fundamentally disagree with Chris's position that the larger party should be in charge of the economic trajectory of a government?
I'm telling you that we're in the Green Party for the reason that we believe in the Green Party's policies and our values.
Fundamentally,
Fundamentally, this is an MMP environment, and it means that the power that we get is dictated by the people of this country when it comes to the proportionality of Parliament. But what I can guarantee you is that we're not going to end up with a situation like we did with this government, with those coalition agreements coming out of these backroom deals, which read more like 200 random hot takes from your granddad's Facebook comment section than anything that any political party was transparent about during the campaign.
Yeah.
You will know what we believe in and what we're going to take to the negotiating table.
And we have stood next to Labour and worked through our differences. So not only have we got common areas, we are independent parties, but we've also worked through differences as well.
How aligned are the parties on, Chloe, or whoever would like to speak to it, how aligned are the parties on the use or treatment of critical minerals?
So we've only recently been grappling with the information that obviously these talks and negotiations have been occurring in secret over the last 48 hours. Clearly, the Greens have our position, Labour will speak to theirs, and we will come together and figure out what we can move ahead with together.
None of us are standing here today saying that we agree on everything and that it's a package deal or anything like that. We're separate political parties, and we're out there to get as many votes as we possibly can. But what we are saying is that we can work together after, in the event that we need to do that.
Breaking news. This, according to Tuia News, Penny Henare is keeping away from politics, and he's done an interview saying so. So can you comment to that now?
I'm going to comment after Penny has made his
It's
announcement.
out publicly.
Well,
that was his
And after you
announcement.
get
He-
With Māori
he's making an announcement at 4 o'clock, and I'll comment after that.
He's already
Why not
made
now?
it. He's already
It's
made
already
it.
out
though.
publicly.
Well, if media outlets have breached the embargo, then that's their call.
That's his call. He's doing interviews.
Well, I understand he did some pre-recorded interviews in advance under embargo. If media outlets have broken the embargo, that's a question for
So
them.
he is leaving. Are you sad about that?
I'm going to comment on it later on.
But it's public knowledge now. Can you just
Yeah.
respond to
I,
it?
I'm
being
going
announced
to
that
comment
he's
on it
leaving
later on.
Labour?
I'm going to comment on it later on.
No
Any-
bad blood? No bad blood?
I'm going to comment on it later on. You can keep asking, but I'll give you the same answer.
But the embargo's broken. Does that not mean the embargo's lifted?
Well,
So
this is awful.
he just
I guess we'll see you later on then.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Kia ora, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Cheers.
Kia ora.
Cheers.